Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be continuing our series on how to find remote work. We know that that's such a huge impediment in order to help you to get overseas. And today we are joined by Tenalytics, the CEO of Tenalytics, as well as some other students of that program who were able to successfully land some remote jobs in tech. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this. This is exactly what you need so that you can get some remote income and be able to live abroad. So Adeza, he is the founder of Tenalytics. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and the company so everybody knows what you're bringing to the table today?
All right, thank you very much for that. My name is Adeza Suleiman, and I'm the founder of Tenalytics. I'm a professional with over a decade experience cutting across management consulting and data analytics. And over the last 10 years, my focus has been on helping professionals to make the transition from the non-technology backgrounds into areas within the technology ecosystem. I've lived and I've worked in the UK. I've worked remotely back when I was in Nigeria, working for companies in the US, and I currently reside in Canada, also helping organizations to make that digital transformation. Now, over the last 5 years, my focus shifted from helping companies to helping individuals, Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora, including the Black community, to make that transition into the tech ecosystem. And over the last 5 years, we've helped over 3,000 professionals make that jump. We've helped nurses become data analysts. We've helped care workers become business analysts. We've helped accountants become financial analysts, cybersecurity professionals, and so on and so forth. And my experience stems from working within sectors cutting across energy, automobile, the educational technology space, financial services, and so on and so forth. And my mission today is to help so many other people like me to make that transition into the tech ecosystem. I have no technology background. Like people always ask me this question. My first degree was in industrial chemistry, but I was able to make the jump from industrial chemistry degree into data analytics. Ahmed has also been able to do the same, joining Tenalytics, and Olayinka has also done the same. So I'm super excited to share my experience with you today.
That's very exciting to hear. I know that so many people are looking to transition from that current career path that has them tied down to a specific location and 9 to 5, being able to get into tech where it's going to be a little bit more flexible. They'll be able to work in any other country that they want. So
Right.
that is news to our
That's
ears.
one of the main questions we get all the time is how can I transfer the skills that I already have and incorporate them into tech? Or they just don't know which direction to turn. So this is perfect. People need to hear this.
Absolutely.
How did you successfully transition into a business data analyst in the UK? And what strategies did you use to secure some job opportunities? Because I'm sure that there's other people who are looking to transition and they could take some modeling off of what you did, and then they could follow that career path.
All right. So my story is quite interesting, and there is something I want everybody to learn from my own story. And that's simply the type of people you engage with, the type of people you are in proximity with can change your career trajectory. Okay. And I'll give you an example. So when I started back in Nigeria, myself and the co-founder, Efemena, we learned together. Okay. So we're trying to pivot from management consulting to data analytics. So we learned Excel, we learned Power BI, we learned Tableau, and we're trying to figure these things out ourselves. Now, Efemena decided to leave Nigeria and he moved abroad. He moved to Ireland. Okay. And when Efemina moved to Ireland, we kept in, constant communication. And shortly after he moved, he landed a job as a business intelligence developer with DPD in Ireland. And I knew the type of skills Efemina had back when he was in Nigeria, and our skills were pretty much similar to, I knew how to do what he could do, and I knew that if I had the same opportunity, I can also land the same type of job. And Femina kept on encouraging me that, okay, you need to move abroad. You need to move abroad. And eventually I decided to make the jump. So I moved to the UK. And within the space of a month, I landed my very first job. All right. And the reason why I was able to land that job was simply because I knew that I had the skills to land the job because Efemena, who we had studied together, the co-founder of Tenalytics, was able to land the job shortly after he moved to Ireland. Now, when I went into interviews, I knew what to say because I had somebody to guide me. Okay, I knew how to structure my CV. And what I did was very simple. I picked a Femina CV and I used that as a template. So if this is something that works, why reinvent the wheel? So I took the CV, I revamped it into mine. And of course, I knew exactly what to do afterwards. So how did I position myself to land that job? I did three very important things, and it's something I believe that everybody would benefit from, and it forms a major critical part of what we do at Analytics. Now, a lot of people take one CV and they use that to apply to multiple roles and expect that they get results, but that doesn't happen. Okay, so I ensured that for every single job I applied to, I tailored my CV to that job. So my CV spoke to the job. If I was applying to a data analyst role, my CV must carry work experience, skills of the data analyst. If the next job was a business data analyst role, my CV must also carry similar type of skills and tools that fit into that role. So that was the first thing I did, tailoring my CV. I didn't just focus on volume, I focused on quality volume. All right. So that was number one. Number two was I ensured that I took my time to put in this application. Okay. So I've interacted with so many people that'll tell you that, oh, I applied to 5 jobs today and I'm not getting any results. I was doing about 10 jobs every single day, sometimes 15 every single day. And eventually the opportunities started to come. Okay. Now, one other thing I did, the second thing I did was to project my experience a whole lot more and not just certificates and skills and so on, which is what so many other people do and they get it wrong. Employers want only one thing from you. They want your competence, and your competence includes your skills and your experience. A lot of people have the skills, they have the certificates, but they have no substance in terms of experience to showcase to employers that if I get this job on day one, I know exactly what to do. Now, I had heard from a Femena that employers in the UK would want to see the dashboards you've built. What have you done using Excel? What have you done using Power BI? So my focus was not on telling them what I know how to do, but actually showing them what I've done before. So I had a portfolio, and my portfolio had all the projects I had completed. And whenever I got into an interview, even if I'm not asked, I would ask the interviewers, I have my portfolio I'd like to showcase to you. If you have 5 minutes, can you take 5 minutes? Let me show you what I've worked on before, and so on and so forth. And I walked them through my portfolio. Now, the third thing I did that made the difference was research and preparation. This is something that a lot of people underestimate, the power of preparation. And I'll prepare for every interview and I'll know more about the company than even some people that work in that company. Okay. And how do I know this? I knew this because in one interview, there was a lady who asked me that, are you sure about what you're saying? Because they asked me a question around, tell me where we have operations, all the regions where we had operations. And I started reeling it out to them. Well, you have operations in the UK, you have in the US, you have in Dubai, in the UAE. And I listed all the regions and she was surprised. And she didn't even know that they had operations in Dubai. Okay, so that level of preparation would show any potential employer that you know you're ready for the role, you've done your research, and you're ready to land that job. And that was exactly what helped me land my own job just about a month after I moved to the UK. I don't know if that helps or answers your question.
Absolutely. You touched on so many key and important things because we see it all the time. Like people, they show up with all these different things that they know and these skills, but if you have nothing to demonstrate the work, then that's going to be what's going to be able to separate you from all the people that are and trying to get these valuable remote positions. That
Absolutely.
was perfect. Given the current UK immigration changes and also the things with the H-1B visa rule changes, what skills are most in demand and how can international candidates position themselves to make sure that they can land a job?
Across the globe, generally, that's a very brilliant question, anyways. You have numerous immigration changes across the US, the UK, across Europe, and even in Canada. But I always love to tell people this: whenever you have chaos, a chaotic situation, or confusion, facts are your friends. Okay, so what are the facts? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Now, why are these changes coming up? Why are they even happening in the first place? And what you tend to find is different countries, the UK, for example, they are simply trying to control immigration. Okay. So reduce the number of people flowing into the country and so on and so forth. And they're also rebalancing and focusing on the higher skilled roles. And I'll give you a typical example. Back last year, even 2 years ago, in the UK, for example, you could simply apply, if you're a chef or a cook, you could get a visa sponsored job. Okay. But now they are saying that you can't get those type of jobs and get visa sponsorship anymore. They categorize those type of skills now as lower level skills. So the focus is more on the higher level skills. And then in the US, for example, the government is simply trying to balance domestic labor in line with political, undertones. I don't want to get into the political, considerations on that level. That's a conversation for another day. Now, when you look at these three broad reasons of why these countries are trying to restrict immigration to a large level, you start to ask yourself the question: what do I then do? What opportunities are available? Looking at the facts, if countries are looking for employees or professionals that can fit into higher level roles, if I have higher level skills, it means I can compete for those type of jobs, right? Absolutely. And that would be my focus. So my focus is, rather than applying to any type of job that I see, if what I want to get is some sort of visa sponsorship, both in the US or in the UK or wherever you are, you want to look for those skills that position you for those type of jobs. And the skills are pretty much in a broad category of career path. And I'm going to list these career paths because it doesn't matter where you are. I was a data analyst in Nigeria. I moved to the UK. I also worked as a data analyst. I worked for companies in the US. I moved to Canada and I'm also doing the same. So what skills would ensure that you are high in demand both locally and on the global scale? And there are 8 career paths you want to look at. Number one is the data analyst role. If you are a data analyst today, you really won't struggle to land a job because you are competitive wherever you find yourself. The data science role, as a data scientist, the data engineer. Ahmed here on the screen is a data engineer. Olayinka is a data analyst. You have the business analyst role. You have cybersecurity. You have agile project management, HR analytics, and financial analytics. And these are the 8 career paths that, if you find yourself in any one of these areas, you'll be competing for the best type of jobs. The jobs that will give you the opportunity to qualify for those higher skilled roles and also better remuneration and so on and so forth. So facts are your friends, number one, in a time of chaos. Number two, you need to then look at the areas where you have opportunities, double down on those areas, select one career path and go all in. And that's where you get success at the end of the day.
That's some golden nuggets right there. People are going to be really excited to hear that. What advice would you give to individuals prepping for UK, US, or Canada job market in 2025, considering the immigration landscape?
Well, the advice is very simple. And like I always tell everyone, don't always kick the ball forward. Okay. For so many people, they kick the ball rolling. Trump didn't make the announcement until recently. For every organization who wants to hire or petition for a H-1B visa, you need to pay $100,000. This came up a few weeks ago. Now, prior to that, there were so many opportunities available. There are still opportunities available today, but the more you tend to kick the ball down the road, you restrict and limit the opportunities you have. So what I always advise people is to get started. That's number one. Number two is you want to focus on not just the technical skills, but also the employability skills. That's the perspective of looking at things from the perspective of the employer and not what you think you need to do. So sometimes we are very compelled and we believe we are doing the right thing, but what would an employer want from me? Again, employers want you for your competence, your skills, and your experience. So once you've learned the technical skills, and you have to learn the right way, learning the right way simply means I learn in a project based environment. If I want to become a data analyst, I'm not going to watch videos on Excel or watch videos on Power BI. I would have to do the job of a data analyst. I would have to work on projects that a data analyst has worked on. All right. And that's what we employ at Tenalytics. You work on projects. So you solve real problems from organizations that have actually encountered those problems. And by solving the problems, you gain the skills that would enable you to do the job of a data analyst. Now, when you've gotten the skills, you then need to showcase your skills to the world because nobody knows you, nobody cares about you if they don't know what you do or what you can do. All right. So you must have a portfolio. You must have somewhere people can go to and see what you've done and they know how good you are. All right. And that's where your portfolio comes in. So always remember competence over credentials. People chase credentials all the time, but competence over credentials, your skills and your experience. Once you've done this, you've gained the technical skills. You can now showcase your skills to the whole world. The next thing you need to do is employability. How employable are you? If you get into an interview, can you answer simple questions like, tell me about yourself? Can I get to know you? Can you answer competency based questions? Do you know how to interact with interviewers? Do you have the right CV? Do you have an optimized LinkedIn profile that attracts the biggest and the best organizations across the globe? And these are the things we ensure that we provide every single person who joins the Tenalytics program. We work on your CV for you, and then we show you how to tailor those CVs going forward. And more importantly, when you start getting interview invites, what do? We prepare you for those interviews. Now, for somebody like Olayinka, who got a job as a data analyst, when Olayinka has had interviews, he needs to have somebody, there should be somebody, a professional who has done that job before, who knows the job of the data analyst in the UK to prepare him for that job interview. Because a lot of people run to YouTube, they run to Chat GPT, and they really don't get the right way to prepare for the interview. But having somebody who has done that job, having somebody who has worked in that same industry, worked in a similar region, they can give you the details, the nuances, what you should prepare for, and so on and so forth. And these are the things we also provide to all the people that join our program. Okay. And more importantly, last but not the least, is referencing. Okay. Now, when you get a job as, let's say you worked in the healthcare sector as a nurse, but now you've learned data analytics or business analysis and you want to land a job as a business analyst, the organization would ask you for a reference. They'll do a background check on you. Where have you utilized the skills you say you know how to do, you know how to use? And that's where Tenalytics come in. So when people join Tenalytics, they don't join us as students or as learners. They join us as contractors or consultants. So you work on projects, you solve problems, and at the end of the day, that forms part of your work experience. So when organizations wants to validate, ask a reputable organization that, do you really know how to use these skills? Where have you used these skills? We then provide that organization with, this is what you've done, this is how you utilize these skills, and that's what helps you cement the job at the end of the day. I don't know if that answers your question, Lovan.
I really like the sound of that because not it's like so many practical things. Like you said, so many people they run to YouTube and Chat GPT, and that's only going to get you but so far. But by having the work experience already built in through the program, that's really going to give people a leg up. And that kind of leads me into the next question I wanted to ask is, how can international candidates with no local experience stand out as top contenders for some of these really in-demand positions that are in the US, UK, and worldwide, even beyond what you're already just established with giving some experience right off the bat?
Yeah, absolutely. Very brilliant question. So, again, technology transcends borders. It doesn't matter where you are. Okay. Python in Trinidad and Tobago is Python in the US. Okay. Splunk in Ghana is Splunk in the UK. Microsoft Excel in Nigeria is Microsoft Excel in Canada. So it doesn't matter where you are. One thing you need to realize is your skills are global. The world is more global than ever before. All right. So even though you don't have local experience, you need to know that your skills are global. Okay. Now, once you've known this and you have that mindset, the next question is, how do I then position myself for success in these areas? Anybody who I would advise in that regard. Okay. So you know that your skills are global. The next thing you need to do is, how do I build those skills? All the things I mentioned earlier in terms of the technical skills, the employability skills, and eventually knowing how to apply becomes very important. Okay. So once you follow the process, it's a process, and success is replicable. It can be replicated, among millions and thousands of people. If I've been successful as a data analyst, Ahmed has been successful as a data engineer. The question is, how did he do it? Can I do the same and get similar results? And the answer is absolutely yes, you can do the same. So you learn the technical skills, number one. You build a portfolio to showcase that experience of all the things you've learned, all the things you've built, all the projects you've worked on, and then you gain employability skills. You have the right CV that is keyword optimized, ATS friendly, and then you can start to get opportunities. You must have a LinkedIn profile that is optimized based on your region. Okay, if you're in Canada, for example, what's the best way to structure my CV, structure my LinkedIn profile? And having professionals who have been there to show you how to do that becomes very important. All right. You also need to know that you should have a portfolio. This is a no brainer. Okay. And it's something that, if you're going to take anything away from today's session, always ask yourself the question, how can people know how good I am, the quality of the work I've done? How do I show evidence for the work that I've done? And that's where your portfolio comes in. So you must have evidence for what you've done. All right. Then you must have the opportunity to prepare for interviews. Okay. Having somebody, if Ahmed is a data engineer, I want to get a job as a data engineer. I want to speak to Ahmed. I want to know what he's done, how he got the job, what are the potential questions you're likely going to get. So you need to prepare properly. And once you've done that, you need to have a reputable organization that can back you up to say that you've actually learned these skills. You've utilized these skills in this way and that way. And one last thing I also want to mention is knowing how to apply and where to apply to jobs. All right. Now, one thing is, a lot of people apply to jobs on different platforms, on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Workopolis, CV Library, depending on where you are. Okay. Monster, and so on and so forth. Now, when you apply to jobs like that, where everybody else applies to jobs, you'll get the same type of results that everybody gets. Now, what we do at Analytics is we subscribe to paid job boards that come with exclusive visa sponsored jobs. And then we pay to those platforms so you don't have to pay for them. We scrape the jobs from the platforms and we vet those jobs to be sure that these are the type of jobs you can do. Okay. And then we get you to apply to those jobs. So you're applying to jobs that are exclusive to a smaller community, and this gives you a better chance of landing interviews a lot faster. And I talked about volume the other time. A lot of people don't know that the average number of jobs you need to apply to get one job offer is 267 jobs. Okay. So when you're applying to jobs, you need to realize that, okay, I have my work cut out for me. And if you know the level of work you have ahead of you, you then know the number of jobs to apply to per day, per week, per month. And you're looking at the average of 267. Now, it could be lesser than that. It could be more than that. We've had people who got jobs after applying to two jobs. Okay, they were that lucky. Okay, we've had people who've applied to more jobs than 267 and eventually they got their offer. But the average you should look at is 267. Okay, so once you know the work ahead of you, you then know how to structure your time, your schedule to apply to those type of jobs. So you get to realize, Lovan, that to stand out, it's a multitude of repeatable steps that could be applied not just to one person, but to millions of people. But knowing those steps, those skills, how to apply, how to do them, and follow the process is what is absolutely crucial. And that's what we do at Analytics, helping you navigate the journey.
That's so good. I really, really like the process that you guys, have set out. Because, like you said, you want something because real success is scalable. If it only works for one or two people, that doesn't really mean anything. But when it's working time after time after time after time again, now you know
Absolutely.
you're onto something.
And thank you for explaining like the expectations that people have because I'm sure after like two or three applications, people are starting to get discouraged. They don't want to apply anymore. They start to question their own value and skills. So if they know this is the average number that I have to get to, hopefully, like you said, there are people that are lucky, but if they have that expectation
Yeah.
from the jump, they'll be fine.
Let me just add something very quickly to that. Okay. Now, applying to jobs is represents only 40% of people that actually get jobs. In looking at the entire job landscape, only 40% of actual applications lead to the jobs. More jobs are gotten through referrals, networking, and other, channels. So what we do is while we help you focus on applying to jobs, we also show you alternative strategies that you can take. For example, one of the things I always tell people to do when you move to a new country, a new city, a new region is search for innovation hubs, tech accelerators near me. Okay, just go on Google and do a quick search. Now you'd see the innovation hubs, the tech accelerators near you. Most of the time, they are free for you to attend. Okay, so imagine I want to get a job as a cybersecurity professional or as an agile project manager. I'll visit those accelerators multiple times, go for their community coffee events, and network. Okay, and we've had people get jobs like this. They go there, the founders, the co-founders, and C-suite executives of the companies you want to get into are actually in those networking events. So you have the opportunity to connect and get opportunities. So while we focus on applying to jobs, there are alternative strategies that we also focus on to open the job opportunities for you as well.
I like how there's so much support for your students to land jobs. Are there anything else that you wanted to discuss, during or after training to help them land jobs? And also too, if you could tailor it to these recent immigration changes, what exactly do you do to give them support?
Every single thing I've listed so far, number one is we equip you with the skills. All right. Because that's a given. Every employer wants to ensure that you have the right skills to do the job. So once you have the skills, learning in a project based environment, we then equip you with the experience. You need to have the opportunity to showcase experience. All right. So we have a sister company called Amdari. So once you are done with your training, a typical training at Analytics will take 6 months. Okay. So once you are done with the training for 6 months, you then move into the next company, our sister company, where you get work experience for another 2 months. So it's an 8 month learning journey. 8 months. Okay. So it's not your get a job in the next 2 weeks or get a job in the next three weeks. No, it's an 8 month intensive, immersive process. Okay. So once you've gotten the skills, you've gotten the work experience. In between, you have your mentorship sessions. The mentorship sessions are where myself, the co-founder, we bring in other industry experts to hold your hands, help you answer questions. And these sessions are open to all the community members as long as you're a part of Tenalytics. All right. Now, you also have lifetime access to your learning management system and your live classes. So we break the training into two parts. It's a blended learning approach. So you have the self-paced aspect where I can log into my platform any day, anytime, any day of the week, anywhere I am. I can learn on my own. And then you have your live classes, which happens every Saturdays. Your live class is where you have the opportunity to interact with a professional who would walk you through projects and you solve those problems together. All right. And you have lifetime access to it because you could be on the job and then you find something that's, seems like you remember that I think I've done this before in class. Can I go back to check and see how it was done? So you always have the opportunity to refer back to the things you've done in class. So that's the lifetime access part. And that gives you the opportunity to still be a part of the ecosystem. And I'll end by giving you this example. Now, there was a lady who had left. She had completed her program. She got a job in 2022. Okay. Now, she relocated and she moved from Nigeria and she moved to the UK, and it was a different experience for her, and she wanted to also get a job in the HR space. Now we have a HR analytics program, and because she's been a part of the Tenalytics ecosystem for the past 3 years, all she needed to do was to book an interview prep. Since 2022 she still had access to the resources and the professionals within Tenalytics. She booked an interview prep. Somebody jumped on a call with her, prepared her for the interview, and she got a job with British American Tobacco as a HR analyst. Okay, so these are the opportunities you get, and how we help you ensure that you don't just complete the program and exit, but you have continuous support and you are a part of a community and an ecosystem that is always there to support you whenever you need us.
Awesome.
I had a follow-up question too, because you are providing kind of like an on-demand training that people could devote their time to, as well as the live classes. But especially since people are going to be transitioning from other fields, and you said it takes around 6 months of training to get the skills, another 2 months of doing some projects, actually use those skills into something that can give them experience. About how many hours you'd say per week, because people would probably still be working at a full-time or part-time job as they transition. About how many hours should they expect to devote toward the training per week or per month?
Per week, a minimum of about 7 hours. So we always advise a minimum of 1 hour per day. Okay. So when you're transitioning into a new career path, it's also important for you to realize that it's going to take a whole lot of work. Okay. It's not a walk in the park. If it were that easy, everybody else would be doing it. All right. So you need to ensure that you dedicate a minimum of 1 hour to learning, studying, and going back to your program, your projects, assignments, and so on. You'll have a lot of tasks and exercises to complete. But 1 hour per day is what we recommend. Okay, so the class itself is not designed the typical way you would have, other programs. I have done a lot of, when I was transitioning about 12 years ago, I did a lot of Udemy, I did a lot of other programs. I never completed any of them. Okay, and the reason why I struggled was simply because there was no support. I was just watching videos and trying to do things myself. Okay, so we know that, and we know people struggle with that. So the adults learn in two ways. They are visual learners and they are kinesthetic learners. They learn by seeing and they learn by doing. Okay, so we know that and we embed that across all the programs. So you have case studies, you have projects while you are learning for 6 months, and you're applying those skills you learn. You learn Excel, for example, you learn how to do the VLOOKUP, the XLOOKUP. How do I actually use this to solve a problem? So that's the way you learn in class. Okay, and then the internship for 2 months is simply where you get to interact and work in a simulated real world environment where you get to see how the job would be when you eventually get that job on day one? What are the type of things I'll do, and how do I deploy my skills in the real job, the real world of work? Okay, so that's typically what 7 hours per week, and your live classes on Saturdays run for 3 hours. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the US, it's roughly about 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, if you are in the UK, it's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time. So you have that flexibility across regions, and you just have to pick the time that fits your schedule and you key into it.
That's perfect. I think that's very manageable. 1 hour per day. These people that are you're looking to change your life, and if all it takes is 1 hour, that's one less show on Netflix or on TV.
Yeah.
You devote that time to building your future. I think that's the way to go. But I'd like to hear from some of the students who have actually gone through the program as well now, just so that people can hear from people who actually went through. Because there's one thing about hearing all the steps, but like if they're going to be students themselves, they're going to see themselves in these two gentlemen. So let's hear from Ahmed. And I would ask, why do you think people should consider a career in tech and remote work opportunities? And what advice would you give to people who are going to be starting out?
Tech is a very top cutting edge field that can give you an opportunity to improve your lifestyle, improve your career, improve your life entirely. For me, I was a civil engineer. I was on construction sites dealing with blueprints, soil, and concrete. If someone had told me back that I would one day be building data pipelines instead of roads, I would have laughed. But here I am. I want to share now the transformation that happened. And it really changed everything for me. Not only on the aspect of salary, but on the lifestyle too. I feel happy when I go to work because I'm doing something that I like. It's a very aspiring career, a promising one. I graduated from civil engineering. I worked as an infrastructure engineer at my beginning. I love solving problems, but something like inside me wanted something else. I was fascinated by how data could predict, optimize, and automate decisions. So I started learning technology. That's when I discovered 10 Analytics, and it was a game changer. Really helped me. 10 Analytics did not just teach me tools, it taught me how to think like a data engineer. That's when I realized that I would not just learn data engineering, I was becoming a data engineer with them because they gave you a structure. After finishing the program, I started to apply for jobs, and like most of us, you will have experience and you will face rejections. But every interview taught me something new. I improved my resume consistently, and I realized everything that I learned at Analytics had prepared me for this moment. When I got the offer, it was one of the proudest moments of my life. You are talking about maximum 8 months that changed everything from the previous September in 2024 to today. Now I became a data engineer at IBM Egypt. I work on building and optimizing data pipelines. Data analytics can help you to get a structured roadmap to become not only data engineer like any tech. I insist on being consistent. Even 1 hour a day can change everything, can change your future.
I really like what you said. Like you weren't just learning how to be a data engineer; you were becoming a data engineer. So that really talks to the level of training that analytics is providing.
So for Allow, we would like to hear from you as well. So what strategies can help individuals new to tech successfully land their first job?
Oh yeah, that's a perfect question for this particular moment. I think it's actually having a roadmap. However, if you need to have a roadmap, you need to have like some kind of mentor. A mentor in the sense that you need to have a guide. Just like Adiza said on the call before now, there are a lot of resources out there for you to learn whatever kind of tech role that you want to learn. You have the YouTube, you have Udemy, you have a lot of platforms to learn all these things. However, they are not structured very well for you to get what you want in the tech ecosystem. That's where that's where Tenacity actually comes in. I've been in tech before. Yeah, I think I've done technical support way back in Nigeria for years before moving into the UK and all that. But when I moved to the UK, I decided to do something aside the course I actually came to study. That's how I was able to find data analytics. And when I found analytics, I keyed into their program, and I did everything virtually we needed to do. However, it took me a long time for me to get a job. I have family, I have some other things, and I'm doing by the side. At the same time, as I was still applying for jobs, and when I was able to get the job, I was actually grateful to tenants. Just like I said, you can learn a whole lot of stuff outside. But if you don't have like someone to give you a guide to like probably take you by the hand to apply for those jobs, to get to land a role will be difficult, because in analytics they will teach you the basic skills for you to know on what you need to do, how to apply for those jobs, how to prepare for interviews, and then how to have a lot some kind of experience at the internship program part of it. So if anyone in summary, if you know you want to go into tech, you need to key into a programs like that of 10 analytics, which will give you an edge over like millions of people that are applying for the same kind of role outside. And that's where they come in. To have a structure and then someone to take you through all those journeys, like a step by step guide, and follow whatever they want you to follow. Like a practical approach to getting the job. And that's where alternative actually comes in. But in truth, I actually learned a lot. I did my program way back in 2022. Just like Adiza said, we still have access to all those classes that we did way back then. We can't get that outside, and it's like you are paying. What you're going to get in return is way more than what you are paying for. Just have the tenacity, the determination to succeed, and patience, because getting a job this is it's like it's not a walk in the park, but you have to be prepared and then be ready for the challenge that comes ahead with it.
So I wanted to ask because I know Ahmed said that he is a data engineer. How did you choose that specific career path, and what factors influenced your decision?
I liked the concept of collecting data, handling data, cleaning data. I started to talk to the guys in the data team if there is a chance to upgrade this career, this job description. So my beginning as a data collector helped me to make the decision of being a data engineer, because it was the closest job description to what I was doing.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
One of the things we also do is for those who are confused, they don't know what career path to choose. Okay, so Ahmed had some sort of data background, but he wanted to move into data engineering and he needed a structured pathway, which we provided for him. But for those who are confused, we have something we call the clarity session. Okay, and this is a session where you join the community and you have the opportunity to speak to one of our career coaches. They then look at your work experience, they look at your transferable skills, and they guide you on the right career path to choose. Do you go for business analysis? Do you go for data engineering like Ahmed? Or do you go for data analytics like Olainka? So I believe the link to the community will be posted under this video in the description. So for those who want to join the community, they can simply just go there and have the opportunity to speak with a career coach to help them make that decision.
It's great that you provide that, because a lot of people are lost and they don't know how to translate the skills that they already have to something that can apply to their life and what they want to do in the future. So that's awesome. I love that you provide that for people. Alainka, you can answer this. How effective was the training program in preparing you for your role, and what specific aspects were the most helpful for you? I know you mentioned mentorship before, but if there was anything aside from that.
For me, it's actually highly effective, because you will be taught by people that has experience in these job roles, because there's something that has to do with having experience in any field that you find yourself. It's one thing to know how to use Excel, for instance, or probably to know how to use SQL. It's another thing to have the work experience with it. They are two different things entirely. So for me, it's actually people that can relate with what you're talking about. Most of our teachers, they are not just teachers. They have our tutors rather, they have experiences in all these fields. So they teach you based on what they know. So that's one of the things I like about Analytics. And then the sessions, the fact that you can actually go back to all those videos and then to go and watch them again. Opportunity actually has to meet with preparation. If those two things, if they don't go together, there's no way you can land any job role.
Thank you for sharing. I really like how you said the opportunity meets preparation, and when you have both of those things together, you'll be able to go far.
We live by that thing. So.
There's so many good things about Tenalytics. Would you recommend this training program to others? And is there advice that either of you would like to share about those that would be considering joining the program?
Well, Analytics can be the optimal choice, but there is something. Before joining Analytics, you must be consistent. You have to study every day. 10 Analytics will not help you alone. You have to help yourself. You have to study because if you neglected your lessons with 10 Analytics, at the end of the program, you will feel that you are lost. You did not get the beneficial that you're supposed, because at the end you are investing in yourself. You are investing in your future. Analytics can help you, can be a mentor for you, but you have to help yourself so they can help you to get something good in your future.
Yeah, I agree. This is for those individuals who are really looking for a change and are looking for that location
Serious
freedom
about it. Yeah.
and are going to be serious. Then yeah, this sounds like a really great program. And Ola, I'd like to hear from you as well. Is there any advice that you would give to those that are considering joining the Tenalytics tech program?
Anyone that wants to join, I think they should feel free to join the program. Just like I said, what you will gain will be much more than what you are paying for. This there it's like a one in a lifetime opportunity for now, as long as tech role is concerned, because you are still adding to yourself, no matter how you look at it. Even if the job is not coming out, at least you have that particular experience, you have the knowledge, and then when the opportunity comes, then you just walk right bang into it. So it gives you an edge over anyone that's learning all those things outside independently.
It's been really exciting to get to hear all about Tenalytics. Like, we are very passionate about bringing great information to our community so that they can live this kind of lifestyle, be able to have that location freedom and find remote work. So I hope that whoever's watching this video is able to take away something actionable from this. And also, too, you have the opportunity to also join Tenalytics and to get yourself on the right track so that you can land that remote position that you're designed for. So we thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you guys in the next video.